All right, the 1940 has good spark, but it apparently has what feels like no compression. So I'm really thinking of taking the head off here, because look how easy this is to turn. Should not be this easy to turn with my hand all the way around, right? So I just soaked these head bolts in some PB Blaster. Oops, I got the wrong size socket. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got a 1/2-inch socket now, and I don't know. Oh yeah, look how easy that was. Now, I got this thing about 2 years ago, and the former owner told me that he had it running. I don't know if that was the truth or not. But I'm gonna take off the head and let's see what we got. These bolts all came out like with no effort at all. So kind of tells me that somebody's been in here recently. And so I'm kind of hoping that it's got a stuck valve or some stupid thing like that. And it's not a problem that it's just totally worn out and has no compression for that reason. So I don't know, we'll see. Head bolts though are working pretty good here. The guy that I bought it from, again, he said it was running, but like he didn't look like he was a liar. I believed him. He didn't say when it was running though, but that's a whole nother story. All right, let's see. We got 2 more bolts here. This should be the last one. Now I can't wait to see what kind of surprise we're going to show up here. Okay, all the bolts are loose. Let's see what we got here. Oh, a copper head gasket. Dude, how sexy is that, huh? All right, let's see what happens. Notice the intake valve is up. We got a stuck intake, stuck exhaust valve, just like I thought. Well, let's look at this thing a little bit more. It's got a standard piston in it. That's pretty cool, huh? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the PB Blaster Big Shot here. We're gonna spray it down that exhaust valve, and we're just gonna let it sit like this overnight and come back in the morning and see what happens. In this in PB Blaster, I figured I would try to spin this valve. Yeah, it ain't happening. Yeah, this valve is pretty chewing up here, actually, guys. It's in pretty sad looking shape, but it's stuck. I mean, it's stuck hard. I'm gonna take this block of wood and I'm just gonna give it a little tap and we'll see what happens. Okay, it went right down, tapping it with the wood. Let's spin the engine over and see if it, oh, that freed it up. That's it, done. Now we should be able to try to start it. Wow, look how nice it is in that cylinder. There's like still some cross hatches. I wonder if somebody honed it like the previous owner or something, but okay, we're gonna check the timing on the mag as long as we got this off too before we put it back together. Let's see where it just sparked right there, which is right where it should. Here's intake valves open, and now we have when the piston gets to the top, it should impulse. Let's see. Dead on. Now the exhaust should open. Yeah, all right, let's put it back together and try to start it. Give it a shot of carb cleaner here. See what happens. Oh, baby. Now we're talking. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, that was close, huh? Whew. It wants to go. Ooh. Leaking gas like crazy. Carburetor's all messed up. Bowl off, and I don't seem to have a new one. See it? It's split in half. It happens all the time on these things. So hopefully I can find one. All right, so I brought the 40L into the garage. We're actually going to take off this old fuel bowl setup because it's all junk. And I had this brand new one here. It's not the nice tilts-in one that it should have with the big bowl, but unfortunately it's a Chinese aftermarket one, but it will work. So let me drop this one and we'll replace it with this new one, and hopefully that gets our fuel flowing to the carb at that point. Got the new bowl on. We just got to transfer over this piece here that connects to the metal fuel line. Hopefully everything has the same threads. Yeah, there we go. So far so good. Let's thread that thing in. That uses a 7/16 wrench, so let me get this nice and tight. Let's see. Yeah, that's not so bad, is it? Now the actual fuel line here. This is a stiff one. Get that lined up. There we go. That has like a compression fitting on it. So just got to tighten that up and we should be good to go. Now we got that all tightened up. Now something else I wanted to point out, that whoever made this fuel line did it in what I'm going to call a non-standard way. I actually have this piece of copper nickel brake line here, which I like to make fuel lines out of, so I could make a new one if this doesn't work. But here's the deal. They got this fuel line coming out like a 90-degree bend down and then going across, and it actually loops up at the other end into the carburetor. Normally, the fuel line would come out up here into the carb, like up this way, so that it doesn't have, it's not lower than the inlet to the carburetor. So I don't know if it's even going to work like this. I really don't know. I'm assuming that the guy that I got it from had it working like this, but I just don't know. There might be enough pressure in the fuel tank that it can get down and back up into there, but I've never had one that has a line like that. So last night I ordered a new main jet here from this place called McDonald Carburetor, and I ordered a couple of these gaskets because my 57L has the same carb and the gasket shot on that one. The gaskets were 75 cents a piece and this main jet was $14. I thought that was more than reasonable. But anyways, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the nut off that's on the back of the carb bowl here, and that will allow me to put like a screwdriver in there and try to touch the float, and we can see if the float is going to move or if it's stuck. And of course this bolt, or this nut rather, is all rounded off. It's supposed to take a 7/16 usually, but that's not fitting it. Let me see if a 3/8 will work on it. Maybe it's been DPO'd, as they say. No, it's just kind of stripped. That stinks, so I don't want to strip it any further. Maybe I won't do this. Maybe I'll just leave it, but let's see. Of course, the fuel line is right up against the back of it. Unless I bend that out of the way a little bit. Maybe that will get me enough clearance to get the other end of the wrench on there. Yeah, it's just stripped. So let me try a pair of vice grips on there and see if I can get it loosened up enough that we can move the float in the carb like that with a little screwdriver, and we'll know that it's freed up and whatnot.